Donald Trump sent out that infamous tweet telling 4 minority Democratic congresswomen to go back to where they came from. And most people have agreed the tweet was racist. Firstly, because 3 of the congresswomen were born in the US, and secondly, because the phrase, go back to where you come from, is literally a racist cliche. Like, I hate it when people say that to me. Just the other day, someone was like, Trevor, when are you going back to Africa? And I was like, Mom, I live in New York now, okay? We can just FaceTime. Now, despite the backlash, Trump has doubled down on his racist tweets, but his fellow Republicans, they're having a harder time defending his words. All right? Republicans like Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader and cover model of Loose Skin Weekly. Because you see, McConnell is married to Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, who herself is an immigrant. And a journalist asked him how he would feel if someone told his wife to go back to where she comes from.
You're married to an immigrant who's a naturalized U.S. citizen. If someone were to say to her she should go back to her country because of her criticism of federal policies, wouldn't you consider that a racist attack?
Well, the Secretary of Transportation came here at age 8, legally, not speaking a word of English, and has realized the American dream.
Okay, that's a weird way to dodge a question. Well, thank you for your question. I will now read my wife's Wikipedia page. Elaine Chao, early life and education. But that was just the appetizer. The real drama yesterday was on the floor of Congress, where the Democrats introduced a resolution to officially condemn Trump's words as racist, all right? But then, after Nancy Pelosi called Trump's words racist, Republicans in Congress objected to her words because apparently, this is completely true, there's a rule in Congress that says members of Congress in the House, on the floor, can't accuse the president of racism. You're not allowed to do it, even if the president says something racist, which is insane. Like, Congress couldn't even call Trump racist if he walked into the Capitol, like, wearing full blackface, just, like, running and just being like, my niggers. Yeah, which is probably going to be his next State of the Union if he finds this out. So because Nancy Pelosi called Trump's racist tweet racist on the House floor, all hell broke loose Congress style.
Breaking overnight chaos on Capitol Hill after a raucous debate, a rare move by the House, voting to condemn President Trump over his attack on 4 Democratic congresswomen.
Quite a scene here on the House floor. A raucous fight exposed those deep partisan divides here on the Hill.
The House is not in order.
Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman from Georgia.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
Do you think it's not
so
racist?
The gentleman was suspended. Gentleman was
Is that what you're saying right now, Mr. Collins?
Gentleman will suspend.
Mr. Collins.
I see nothing that references anybody's race.
Okay, hold up. Man, what that guy said is total BS. Like, you can still be racist without actually saying somebody's race. We all know this shit. You people, we don't like your kind around here. Go back to where you came from. Either this congressman is being willfully ignorant, or he's genuinely clueless and never knows when people are shitting on him. Yeah, he's probably sitting next to some woman who's like, man, someone needs to use deodorant. He's like, who? Who's that? Who? She can't be talking about me because she didn't use my name. So yesterday was total chaos in the House, right? Then, after about 2 hours of arguing, it was decided that the Republicans were right. According to the rules, you can't call the president racist on the House floor. And that's when Eric Swalwell, former presidential candidate and woke Ken doll, stepped up to the plate.
We have an opportunity today to condemn or condone. Birtherism is racist. Saying a Mexican judge can't be fair because of his heritage is racist. Saying immigrants from Mexico are rapists is racist. And telling 4 members of this body to go home is racist.
Gentleman will state his
Do you think it's not racist?
Gentleman will state his point of order.
Do you think it's not
So
racist?
the gentleman was suspended. Gentleman will state his
Is that
point
what
of
you're saying right now, Mr. Collins?
Damn, Eric Swalwell does not give a f. You see him? You know what he has? He's got that I just dropped out of the race swag. That's what he's got. Yeah, you know when you've just been fired from your job, yeah, and in that moment you don't think you'll ever work at another job? That's what he has. That's when you're truly at your most powerful. Just throwing burger patties on the floor, putting your mouth on the soft serve machine, rubbing apple pies on your ass. You can tell Ronald about this. You tell Ronald about this. I'm ready to sleep in jail tonight. It was such a great performance. Some people probably wanted Swalwell to jump back into the presidential race after this, but unfortunately, it's too late. We already sold his spot in the graphic for ad space. Sorry, Eric. So, this thing was pretty wild by congressional standards. And it wasn't just Democrats being called out for their words. At one point, Congressman See No Racism over here referred to AOC and her squad as anti-American. And then the Democrats tried to get him to retract his words. Things got so sidetracked by people objecting to each other's objections. At one point, the guy presiding over the chamber just decided he'd had enough.
So the fight that ensued over Speaker Pelosi's comments on the president proved to be a breaking point for one Democratic lawmaker.
But we don't ever want to pass up, it seems, an opportunity to escalate. And that's what this is. I'll dare anybody to look at any of the footage and see if there was any unfairness. But unfairness is not enough because we want to just fight. I abandon the chair.
God damn. Do you know how much arguing you have to do to get that kind of reaction out of an old black man? Huh? That is a man who has endured thousands of hours listening to people argue in barbershops, and I can tell you, not once has he ripped off his apron like, enough. Maybe Jordan and LeBron are both great players. Come on, y'all. Come on. By the way, though, he probably had to know that there was a chance that his job could get crazy, right? Because if they give you a job where you have a giant-ass hammer when you sign up, you know the shit isn't going to be Wimbledon. But even with those expectations, he was still like, I'm too old for this shit. So after day 4 of Go Home Gate, we are no closer to Republicans and Democrats agreeing on how to condemn Trump's tweet, which was racist. But the good news is we've all learned something new, all of us. Huh? We've learned in Congress, no one is allowed to call the president racist. Yes. And who knows, maybe someday in the future they'll write another rule that says the president isn't allowed to be racist.